let's talk about teenage pregnancies because I see a lot of moms on TikTok, being rude and let me preface this by saying I had a mom who was a teen who had me, and I also had a mom. I have two moms. I also had a mom who shielded me off from dating and having sex because of this. And, I just want to first say that having sex and dating is a part of life. Having sex and dating is a part of life. And don't shield your children off from dating and having sex because you don't want them to turn out like you. And first, let me say, watch the show Mom, okay, on Netflix. Watch the show Mom because it literally breaks down on how you should approach the situation. It does it perfectly. But anyway, yeah. So don't shield your children off from that. Just show them how to use protection. Tell them, I won't say at a young age, but tell them about 14, 16 on, talk to them about the talk, the talk. Talk to them about that and tell them how to use protection and tell them how to prevent having a baby and tell them all of that because trust me, if you don't tell them any of that, they will get curious and then they will have a baby. Okay? like, and since you didn't think that they would have sex at this age, you didn't tell them how to use protection. So then they did have a baby, you know, and things like that. Just to avoid it all, just confront the situation, head on. Just be like, hey, this is what you use for this, and this is how you use for this, stuff like that. Just, tell them exactly what to do in the situation. Um, yeah, also, if they do end up having a baby, just just be there for them, be supportive, just like how your mom or your relatives were supportive about you when you had a baby. Just, be supportive for them and be happy for them and try and, do things for them and, stuff like that. Trust me, if you're the kind of mom where like you try and force them to have an abortion or you kick them out because they are pregnant, that's not the way to go. I'm just gonna tell you right now, that's not the way to go, because that will end up either the baby will die or they will both die. I will promise you that, because babies need a lot of food, and if you're homeless while pregnant, you don't have the resources to get a lot of food because you're growing two children in your stomach. You're growing two children, not two children, but you know what I mean. Like, you're growing a child, a human being in your body. So you need a lot of nutrients, you need a lot of food, you need a lot of protein, you need a lot of, all of that. And when you're homeless, you don't have the resources to get all of that food that you need. So you don't want that. And trust me, like, if you will look back on this and be like, oh my god, why did I do that? Because now if they do end up surviving, if both of them do end up surviving, um, the baby will hate you. The mom will hate you. You will hate yourself because you put out a mom and a child. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not the way to go. You just don't want to do that, and it's really sad if you think about it. If you really like think about it, just be be happy for them. Try and do things for them. The mom and the baby, just try and do things for them. And I'm not saying, I keep saying but I'm not saying coddle them. I'm not saying coddle the mom, because once you coddle her, she will try and be like, oh, I don't know how to raise my own child, so now you gotta raise her. Try and teach her some things. Try and be like, oh, this is what happened when I was pregnant with you. You know, this is how you change a diaper. This is how you feed her. This is how you breastfeed. This is how you do this. This is how you do this. This is how you do this. Don't coddle her to the point where she doesn't know how to raise her own child. Just teach her things while she's pregnant. I'm not saying don't help her. If she has to go out to get a job, don't be like, oh, I won't help the baby because you need to figure that on your own. No, just, help her while she's trying to get her job or whatever she's trying to do. But try and teach her some things as well. Stuff like that. Yeah. I hope this helped. Because like I said, I did have a mom that did have me at a young age, and I did have a mom that didn't want me to date, didn't want me to have sex, none of that. So I'm just trying to say, this is what you should do, because sex and dating is a part of life, and you can't really, forbid your child to not do any of that. So I'm just trying to tell you, this is how you can, this is how the right way you could go about it. I hope this helped, and love you. Bye.